The story begins with Shingo Ichinomiya, a white-collar worker who one day returns home and cooks a lavish dinner for himself. However, being extremely tired, he falls asleep and wakes up in another world as a 5-year-old child. It is revealed that his elder brother is getting married, and he is the youngest son of his family. Later, he fails to introduce himself to the guests, but his brother Eric assists him. It is shown that now Shingo's real name is Wendelin von Benno Baumeister. Later, Eric tells him that their eldest brother, Kurt, is getting married to Amelie, the second daughter of Sir Mainback. He further states that their father is relieved that a noble's daughter has married into their family. Wendelin asks Eric if they are nobles, to which he replies that the Baumeisters are genuine nobles. In the next scene, he notices that there is no language barrier and gets surprised by the lavish ceremony thrown by the family. Moreover, he believes as the third son of the family, he won't have to worry about starving and enjoys the noble food. The next day, Wendelin gets surprised by the bad quality of the food and decides to meet Eric, who was gone fishing. Later, Eric tells him that he was being sarcastic with him yesterday because they are quite poor in reality. However, they cannot be cheapskates with guests and had to maintain their noble pride. That's why they threw such a lavish ceremony, and now they're back to brown bread and light soup starting today, which surprises Wendelin. Suddenly, he meets his other brothers and realizes that they're poor nobles as he is the 8th son. In the next scene, he finds out that he lives in the kingdom of Helmut, whose capital is Stuttgart, with a population of 1 million. Towards the south is the dukedom of Bleichroder, where lies the biggest mercantile center named Breichburg. Moreover, if you move further south and cross the Riggedy Mountain range, you'll find the country of Baumeister Knight Dom with a population of only 800. He believes his life is screwed, and 3 of his brothers leave home to find their path in life. Later, he visits the library but is unable to find any useful books. However, he comes across a crystal ball. He sees a note on it that says that the crystal ball can measure his aptitude for magic. Furthermore, according to the note, everyone possesses mana, but only 1 in thousands has enough mana to cast magic spells. He believes it's a joke, but decides to give it a try anyway. He tries to cast a spell on the ball and causes it to glow, which proves that he has a high aptitude for magic. However, he is unable to find any magical guides in the library and meets his father, who orders him to pick up firewood from the forest. Later, he meets the former court magician of the dukedom of Bleichroder, Alfred Reinfurt, who saves him from a wild boar. Alfred tells Wendelin that he wishes to pass his magic on to him because he wants to have a disciple, and the other agrees. However, he advises Wendelin to keep this a secret because if people find out he can use magic, it can lead to a succession dispute. Furthermore, he tells him that the magicians hold an enormous amount of power and he can become the rightful successor and the next lord in a heartbeat. The next day, Alfred begins their training by teaching Wendelin the method to match their mana capacity. Wendelin notices that Alfred has cold hands and tries to circulate mana throughout his body. Much to his surprise, Alfred tells him that he was able to surpass his magic capacity. Later, his father and brother mock Wendelin's efforts to learn magic. In the next scene, we see Wendelin casting magic spells and Alfred hands him the mountain vegetable. His family gets surprised by the quality of the vegetables, but his brother begins to doubt him. The next day, he manages to learn tracking magic and successfully hunts a horror bird. Later, he uses some wasabi on his food and offers Alfred to taste it. However, Alfred uses a lot of wasabi and tells him it tastes great. Alfred advises him not to go too deep in the woods because the enchanted forest there is home to lots of monsters. The forest is also home to unique foods and herbs, due to which many people waltz into the forest to get rich quickly but die afterwards. Later, Wendelin tells Alfred that he believes his brother has been spying on him. Alfred realizes that he's afraid about his succession rights and asks Wendelin if he wishes to become a lord. He replies that he doesn't want to burden himself with responsibilities. Alfred tells him that he used to be an adventurer in the past and advises him to become one. Suddenly, he gets overpowered by powerful magic, but he manages to control it. In the next scene, Wendelin expresses his wish of becoming an adventurer to his family. However, his father tells him that they don't have enough money to enroll him in the Adventurers Academy. Afterward, Alfred advises him to join merchant guilds in Branchburg to earn money for his tuition. However, it's quite far away and Wendelin will need to learn traveling magic to reach there. Suddenly, Alfred flies him high into the air and shows him the broad world. In the next scene, Alfred gets overwhelmed by some magic power again. The next day, he informs Wendelin that their training will end tomorrow, which upsets him. Later, Wendelin's father states that a whispering dead has been spotted in the woods. It is the undead that has retained its cognitive powers and can hold conversations as well. Moreover, they don't look different from humans, but their bodies go cold as their senses stop functioning, due to which their skin grows pale. In a few years, they lose their minds and become zombies that hunt people to sate their hunger. Wendelin flies to meet his master and informs him about the situation. Alfred declares that he is the Whispering Dead and it happened 5 years ago. The previous Duke's eldest son contracted a deadly illness, and the Duke headed to the Enchanted Forest looking for a cure. Alfred tagged along to protect them, but they faced an army of 2,000, and the monsters outnumbered them. Soon his mana ran out, and he was overwhelmed, but he held a deep regret that turned him into a Whispering Dead. However, when the Whispering Dead's wish is fulfilled, they move on. Alfred's wish was to pass his knowledge of magic on to someone, and he succeeded. However, he requests Wendelin to purge him and teaches him holy magic. He successfully purges his master and begins to cry, but the next day he leaves home to become an adventurer. 7 years later, Louise Jolande Aurelia Overweg, the third daughter of the Overweg family and a martial arts instructor, introduces herself to the students. Ina Suzanne Hillenbrand, the third daughter of the Hillenbrand family and a spearmanship instructor, also gives her introduction. And then we have Wendelin, awkwardly introducing himself to the adventurer's scholarship class. His teacher hands him the party registration form and instructs them to begin training in parties next month. Later, it is revealed that Wendelin is the only student of magic on scholarship. Above all, his magic powers are already on par with top-class adventurers. Erwin von Arnim, the fifth son of the Arnim knightdom, forms a party with Louise and Ina. They decide to impress Wendelin to join their party, but the Axe Trio tells them that they have the same mission, while Wendelin struggles with his social skills. Later, the teacher suggests the students hunt in groups to earn money, and no one approaches Wendelin. Erwin believes if they bring more prey than him, they'll be able to gain his recognition. In the next scene, Wendelin surprises everyone by hunting the highest number of prey and receives a huge award. Later, Erwin, Louise, and Ina visit the deep forest to hunt bigger prey and get surrounded by large wolves. Fortunately, Wendelin senses their presence and decides to help them. While fighting the wolves, Erwin gets injured, but Wendelin arrives just in time to save them. Later, Erwin, Louise, and Ina tell him that due to the difference between their skill levels, they give up forming a party with him. Suddenly, their teacher informs them that all the scholarship students have been invited to a garden party hosted by the Duke of Bleichroder. In the next scene, Amadeus Freytag von Bleichroder meets Wendelin. He expresses his wish to speak with him, and Wendelin brings along Erwin, Louise, and Ina as his party members. Afterward, the Duke introduces them to his court magician, Brentag Ringstadt, Alfred's master. Brentag was able to track Alfred's magic, but it disappeared 7 years ago. He realizes that Wendelin is the disciple of Alfred, and he hands him his magic bag. The magic bag contains the supplies meant for the 2,000-man expedition to the Enchanted Forest. Later, Wendelin manages to befriend his party members. However, the Duke rewards him with 1,000 gold coins for the supplies. Moreover, Brentag tells him Alfred had his estate and Wendelin will inherit it. Wendelin decides to bring his party members to Eric's wedding ceremony, soon to be held during the summer break of the academy. They are traveling on a magic airship with Brentag, who's heading to the capital as their guide. However, their ship gets surrounded by a huge dragon. The passengers get furious, and it is revealed that they've been surrounded by an undead version of an ancient dragon. However, Brentag says the only way to defeat the dragon is by purging it with holy magic, and he is unable to use it. He instructs Wendelin to purge the dragon while he protects the ship. In the next scene, Brentag uses a magic barrier to protect the ship, and Wendelin manages to purge the dragon with full force. The bones of the dragon begin to fall, but Wendelin manages to collect them along with a red stone in his bag. Later, he meets Aruterio, Brentag's partner from his adventure days, who's currently the head of a huge merchant company in the capital. The scene then shifts to the capital, Stuttgart, where Brentag requests Aruterio to handle everything and leaves. Suddenly, they get surrounded by the army, which escorts them to the castle. Erwin, Louise, and Ina leave to meet Eric while Wendelin and Aruterio go inside. They get summoned by the king, who promotes Wendelin to the 6th rank of baronet because of his heroic efforts. In addition, he has been bestowed the Twin Dragon Medal. In the next scene, it is revealed that the Baumeister's highest rank was only the rank of knight. Consequently, Wendelin's name will be now removed from the family and placed at the head of the new Baumeister family. However, the chance to continue being an adventurer is up to Wendelin. Later, Lord Marshal Edgar and Lord Commissioner Ruckner bargain for the price of dragon bones and magic stones. However, Cardinal Hohenheim interrupts them and settles the bargain. Later, Aruterio tells Wendelin that he'll be swamped with rich merchants begging him to wed their daughters. The next day, Wendelin meets his brothers Eric, Paul, and Helmut. Eric informs him that they haven't received the wedding gift from their family yet. The truth is, their family doesn't have the money to buy an extravagant gift. Eric reveals that the Baumeister family are vassals of the Duke of Bleichroder. The lord is supposed to lend the vassal money to their family, but the Baumeisters have no way to repay it. Wendelin decides to give them money, and later Aruterio hands him the home koji. In the next scene, he uses the help of his party members to prepare a dish and uses magic to ferment it. Later, everyone enjoys the delicious soup, and the scene shifts to Cardinal Hohenheim, who summons his granddaughter Elise. He tells her that he has decided who her husband will be. Wendelin visits Cardinal Hohenheim for baptism and gives him a gift as a token of gratitude. However, he gets surprised when his granddaughter meets him. She introduces herself to him, and it is revealed that she possesses magic power too. Hohenheim states that she can use holy healing magic, and many people of the city call her the Saint Hohenheim. Cardinal Hohenheim tells him many families are asking for her hand, and Wendelin jokes about getting on the bandwagon. However, much to his surprise, Hohenheim gets serious about it, and he gets engaged to Elise. Later, it is revealed that Cardinal Hohenheim had planned to choose Wendelin as his granddaughter's husband for political reasons. In the next scene, Wendelin realizes that there is no such thing as romantic marriages for nobles. Later, he disguises himself as a joker to see the sights of the capital without any disturbance. However, a spearman notices him and blows his cover, but he uses magic to escape. Later, Irvin offers to hire him as his retainer, and surprisingly, Wendelin hires him instantly and leaves. In the next scene, Wendelin secretly visits Elise to ask her opinion about their engagement. Surprisingly, she tells him that she's quite happy with the arrangement. Later, Louise and Ina decide to become Wendelin's concubines just to annoy Irvin. However, Louise fails to seduce him at first, and later, it is revealed that they wish to gain recognition from their family. Wendelin gets invited to have dinner with Elise, and the next day he visits her. They enjoyed a noble feast, and her butler advises him to give her something. They visit a ring shop, and Wendelin gets surprised by the high prices of the rings. However, he buys her a specially crafted engagement ring with a magic stone worth 300 gold coins. Later, she reveals that this ring can store magic. However, Wendelin tells her that the only reason why he bought it was that it looked good on her. She gets flattered by his honesty, and accidentally, the ring begins to glow. Later, her butler informs Cardinal Hohenheim that Wendelin treated Elise like a normal girl, unlike any other person. Louise and Ina tell Irvin that they've decided to pause their Operation Concubine Seduction for some time. Suddenly, Elise visits them and asks them about the personality of Wendelin. In the next scene, the king orders Wendelin and Brantag to slay a dragon. Later, it is revealed that only mages can withstand a dragon's breath, and another mage named Armstrong joins them. Armstrong is the palace magician, and he is quite a muscular and enthusiastic mage. He vows to put an end to the ancient dragon at once. Later, they fly to the military garrison on the border of Palkenia Prairie. In the next scene, it is revealed that Wendelin doesn't have an army, and the palace intentionally appointed him for the job. In reality, the palace doesn't want to give away the vast lands as a reward. Since Wendelin is a noble of the robe, they can settle the matter of rewards with medals and money. Irvin, on the other hand, takes command of Wendelin's army. Later, Louise, Ina, and Irvin get anxious about their debut battle when suddenly Elise meets them. She informs them that priests who can use healing magic were ordered to join the campaign. In the next scene, Armstrong, Brantag, and Wendelin arrive on the battlefield. Armstrong equips himself with magic armor and attacks the dragon. He instantly overpowers the dragon, but his armor consumes magic power quickly. Consequently, if he runs out of magic, it's all over. That's why he's focusing on pinning down the dragon so Wendelin can deal with the finishing blow. Wendelin launches the final attack and they defeat the dragon. Moreover, he stores it in his magic bag, and Brantag advises him to sell the dragon parts. Brantag informs him that now they have to deal with a huge army. Later, Elise uses her magic to heal the wounded soldiers, but the number of wounded soldiers increases. She runs out of magic, but uses the magic stored in her ring to heal the wounded. Later, she gets exhausted, and a soldier praises Wendelin's power and calls him a true hero. She decides to give her all to heal the wounded, but runs out of magic. Suddenly, a messenger informs them that they've won, but Wendelin has been injured. Elise rushes to heal him, but faints out of tiredness. Later, she develops affection for him because of his selfless heroic efforts. Suddenly, Armstrong runs towards Elise and picks her up when Brantag reveals that she is Armstrong's niece. In the next scene, we see that Wendelin has been promoted to the Baron and allowed to continue his training in the capital. Elise visits him and states that she assumed he was already engaged with Louise and Ina. However, Wendelin asks her if she's okay with concubines, to which she replies positively. Suddenly, Louise and Ina express their wish to marry him, and he agrees. And on this positive note, our recap comes to an end. Wendelin, what a lucky guy with his cute little hair. What other challenges will he face in the future? Let us know in the comments down below what you think, and I guess we'll find out in the next episodes. And for now, drop us a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Annie Recapped if you want to find more awesome animes like this to watch on your feed. With that said, we'll see you in the next